Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today, in a nutshell, Hanamikoji, a game from Emperor S4, and quick, simple fun. Hanamikoji is a two-player game set in the Asian area, in Japanese to be precise, and these are geishas, so these are old pleasure ladies, and you try to attract these ladies. It's a two-player game. One player is this fraction here, orange, the other one is purple, and these geishas are lying in the middle and they are neutral. These tokens just show if who is right now controlling the geisha. If it's here, the player on this side of the board is controlling the geisha. If it's here, it's this player. However, at the end of a round, whatever a round is, I explain it in a second, whoever controls 4 of these, or whoever controls 11 influence points, and influence points are indicated here, so this geisha is worth 3, this geisha is worth 3, this geisha is 4, and this is even 5, so 5 and 4 are 9 together, and then a geisha of 2 would be 11. So in a case of 11, sometimes only 3 geishas are enough to solve that problem. And please take a look at this beautiful artwork. So whoever at the end of a round controls 4 or 11 victory points is the winner. And how is this game working? And now it's getting really interesting. Each of these geishas has the number indicated here is once the influence points, but otherwise it's the number of gifts they are in the game. So this geisha has, for an example, 3 gifts total in the game, and this one 4 and this one 5. Altogether, these are 21 cards. You shuffle the cards and randomly take one card out, and this card is not available during the whole round. You put that out. Now you have 20 cards left. Out of these 20 cards, imagine they would be shuffled. Well, you get 6 cards on your hand, and your opponent gets 6 cards too. So you have a good number of information on your hand, in this case, for an example, these cards here. And now what happens on your personal action? That is easy. First of all, you always draw one card. Now you also need 7 out of 21 cards. You know right now 1/3 of all the deck. And now you must take one action. However, each of these 4 actions you can only take once per round. This means take a card, slip them under, and later on this is an additional card to score. I explain scoring in a second. Once you use that and flip that card over like this, this action is not available any longer for the whole round. This means burn 2 cards. So you simply take 2 cards out of your hand and trash them. They are not available for the end of the game, until the end of the game anymore. This and that. You can always double check the cards you trashed or put under, but not your opponent. And these are really interesting. In this case, you put 3 cards out of your hand, or 4 cards, lay them down, 3 cards, and your opponent pick 1 card and you get the 2 remaining. In this case, you build 2 piles of 2 cards each, and your opponent picks the stack first and then you pick. Let's assume you start with this 3 and 3. So you put 3 out, opponent takes 1 and you takes 2, blah blah blah, just for demo purposes. Next round you draw another card. Now you burn 2 cards. Next round you draw another card and you lay down, for an example, 2 and 2. Your opponent picks these first here just for demo purposes, and now this. And now you know exactly this will be your last action. However, you don't know what card you're drawing, so it's a blind draw. And as you can see, it's with all of these things the same. If you have, for an example, used all of these 3 before and have this one last, so you know 3 cards you can offer, but the last card you draw might be the card your opponent desperately need to win the game. So you draw the card and the action you use is already determined by the actions you used in the previous rounds. Isn't that cool? Anyway, both players do that, and after 4 actions, exactly these 4 different actions, the round is over, and then you count who has a majority. If it's a tie, the token stays in the middle. If it's a majority, it moves here or here. If there is, for any reason, no winner with either 4 or 11 influence points, 4 of these tokens or 11 influence points, you play a second round and a third round. The third one is just a variant, but I would highly suggest end it after 3 rounds and then simply count the influence points. That's probably the best you can do. And after 3 rounds, Hanamikoji is over and you have scored a winner, or yeah, you will have a winner at that point. As always, like in a nutshell, let's try to talk about my personal experiences with. This time I had so much different playtest groups. Believe it or not, I played it so often. I explain you why. So I put that game onto the table on an evening with just my wife. First of all, my wife is not a gamer, so she said, well, okay, let's try it. I said, well, it's including rules, just 15 minutes, so let's try it. And she agreed. So we played it. And after the first round, she said, okay, let's do it again, which is super uncommon, and I thought, well, that's suspicious. However, I had immediately, even during the first turns, after I took 2, the feeling that, wow, I have to play it again. Wow, what a feeling. What decisions I have to make, and every decision feels on one side bad because you're giving up either informations and cards. And always your opponent picks the cards first. So, but on the other hand, it was so meaningful. It was, wow, every decision is so important that we both decided, okay, play it again. After that, I have to admit, my wife, as a non-gamer, she said, okay, I have enough. I said, no, we have to play it one more time. It was a one-on-one, so we have to make a decision who was the winner. We played it a third time, and after that time I was even dreaming that night about Hanamikoji, and I tried to convince every person in my gaming peer group to play it and play test it with me. And almost everybody said, well, when I explained the rules, that sounds so simple, that sounds like blah blah blah, this game or that game or that game. But when they actually played the first 3 actions, so after 5 minutes they said, hey, wait a minute, that is so deep, that or each single decision is so crucial, because you never know exactly what you draw for your next rounds, and especially this last round. Ooh, oh no, I cannot do this, no. And then when you reveal the cards, oh, this one was burned, oh gosh. So we played it again and again in each single gaming group. And honestly, even if it feels like every single decision is some kind of a punishment, because you really sacrifice things you don't want to give up. Another thing you have to learn in this game is, and this is so important, is that you know over the course of around 10 cards. So at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cards. But this knowledge is just a tiny little bit. You also will learn a couple of the cards from your opponent. To be fair and honest, 7. So you will know 17 cards over the course of the game. However, the real important thing is the timing, and also even more is what you see on your hand. You make your plan like, oh, I have this 7 cards on my hand right now. I need this, 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 this. How can I manage to get these cards down to me? No, that is not what you should think about it. Why? Because every time you lay down cards, your opponent picks first. So you have to learn over the course of the game that your cards on your hand is your information, but it's not your personal stock. To bring it down, your opponent can always cross your plans. That is something you really have to learn, and it is a really interesting and cool feeling. Bottom line is, And enough of all this talk is I was super impressed by Hanamikoji. And I have to say, two-player games, card games, all of that doesn't really ring my bell. All of them is okay, but it's not outstanding. But once I played this, and honestly with every person in my peer group said, wow, whoo, not exactly when you played it 10 minutes, but after 12 or 15 minutes, you are totally soaked in this game and you will love it. There is no question about it. Everybody in my area, in my peer group, loved Hanamikoji. And I got a couple of feedback emails from all of my playtesting friends, and they said, okay, well, can you bring Hanamikoji for the next gaming night, please, Nils? I would love to play it again. Believe it or not. Yeah, that was my personal opinion on Hanamikoji, and also my experiences with this game from Emperor's 4 and Quick Simple Fun. I can only say, if you like a two-player game, buy it right now. You can do nothing, and I repeat it, nothing wrong with Hanamikoji. Thanks for watching. This is Nils, Cyrils Brettspiele, and see you next time. Bye bye.